You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Thank you, Marshall. Spending wisely. Yeah, and this is kind of a follow-up about, not spending money that you don't already have, or spending money before you make it. The thing about money, people they get it and they spend it. Of course, these people are in a poverty mentality. If you have a thing of you get money and you don't spend it right away. I mean, you get money and you spend it on different things that are useless to you in the long run, or just to satisfy your whims, even if it's spending it on food or something. Sometimes it's on extra food. But it's very important to understand that money is a tool. It's literally a currency. It's an energy. It's very important, regardless of whether or not you're an entrepreneur or just, you just somebody who's good with your job. Let me make that clear. Even though this is a business channel, it encourages entrepreneurship. Some people are very good at being school teachers and working with children. Some people, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. But regardless of what their lot in life is, whether they're a CEO or whether they're a street sweeper, they getting paid. Even someone who's making just a little bit of money, they still getting paid. See, the most important thing is not how much money you make, but how you spend it. It's very possible for someone, if they know how to spend their money right, to live very well, making $20,000 a year, right? Whereas somebody making $100,000, they struggling. Now, people will of course say, "Well, why is that happening? There's no way that could happen." Easily. Over the years, I've met several people, primarily women, but got some men in there, who they were making a lot of money, but then they had to live with somebody else. They couldn't get their own place, or they barely making it. I mean, I knew a woman. I was working in the government, and she was making more money than I did. I'm working in the federal government. She's just working in an apartment store, making way more money, and then still had to get a part-time job. So she was making, but then I'm the one with my own spot. She the one living at home, barely making ends meet. That's because she spent money on every little thing she could think of. You have to be wise with that. Money's a tool. Money gives you the ability to do stuff, and how you spend it makes a lot. I knew, because one of the things that take up a lot of money is just paying a rent or mortgage or something like that. Now, I knew this guy, right? Rest his soul. This dude probably had $1 million, just tied up in bank accounts and stuff like that, and stocks and everything, right? Yet he worked in a book stand, a little book stand in D.C. Right? It was by a metro station, and it was just magazines. He worked it. He didn't even own it, even though people called it. They called it by his name because he was so dominant there. And he he actually made a lot just being paid directly by the boss. But yeah, I'd say he probably made about $5,000 a month, $5,000 or $6,000 a month, right? And people would say that's a lot of money, but he was able to expand that money anyway, because he didn't have a car, so he wasn't paying a car note or car insurance. He lived in a paid-for house, so he wasn't paying a mortgage, just paid property tax a couple times. Yeah, paid property tax. I'm saying a couple times. I forgot what it was, but he just had to pay property tax and pay for utilities. All right. So it was he was able to put his money into other things, even though he was making a lot. Now, even if he wasn't making a lot, say instead of $6,000, he's making $1,500 a month, minimum wage. He's still saving some money because he was very frugal with how he ate. He didn't have, like I said, didn't have a car, didn't have anything. So that money could just go into stuff. He could go into income producing assets and stuff like that. And it was just a matter of money management. Because if you look at a lot of people, that's why you get like these pro athletes. They got $1 million contracts and then they're broke. You know, they get a big mansion that they don't need. Would not do nothing but take up money, give money to all these relatives that barely paid attention to them growing up until, you know, they started noticing they were getting some attention as high school athletes, and all of a sudden, hey, you remember I did all this for you? That's why so many end up broke. They don't invest. And now the smart ones, you know, they'll get a business or, you know, get different accounts. But I've actually heard of pro athletes and actually knew a former pro athlete personally. They had to put him on. He was spending money so poorly, his agent had to put him on an allowance. And this pro athlete, I'm not going to call his name, and most people hadn't heard of him anyway. This some dude back from the 80s, right? That dude, last I heard of him, he was like doing manual labor. He was like a janitor or something. Because he didn't spend his money right. You know, he didn't spend it. He didn't take care with it. And I've seen that with people. I mean, I know some people, you know, now, they had serious windfalls in the past, but yet they living like paupers now. Because they spent their money they didn't spend it wisely. See, the key to money really is what you do with it. A smart thing to do with money is no matter what you make, definitely put something away. Even if it's $1, you put something away. You don't spend it all. You know, it's like even if you got the money to spend, you don't spend it all. That's the first thing. You put it into a savings. All right. Now, don't expect to make money off the savings. I mean, that's just a reserve thing, and you get a couple pennies dividend or something off of it, like interest or something. You ain't gonna really become prosperous there, but it's not for that. It's your reserve money for you to look into an income producing asset. You know, that could be a stock dividend. That could be creating some type of product like a song or a book or something. It could be getting some real estate, which is actually the best thing, really. Or something where people could pay. You can get a parking lot, laundromat, something like that. You know, use that money to keep your bills down and stuff, keep your credit good, and then you're able to invest in a business or something in order to make it, in order to produce some type of passive income. You know, that's how you work your money. You can start off with just a little bit of money, but the key is saving it, not spending it frivolously. You know, do you really need a 50-inch TV? You know, do you really need a $500 a month car payment? You know, do you really need that? No, you just need the bare minimum. That's how rich people get rich. You know, as rich people, and I ain't talking about celebrities. There was a book that was out years ago. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. There's a lot of people who live in modest houses or ordinary houses. They drive ordinary cars. They dress ordinary. Yet they're millionaires. You wouldn't think anything of them. You know? My father is such a dude. You know, you see him. He's just a regular blue-collar guy, but he's smart with his money. You know? And that's the key. Because if you don't spend your money on a bunch of frivolous stuff, right, you got plenty in reserve, then you can buy other stuff to help you make money. You know, and like I said, at the minimum, get a savings account. Because then, you know, you build that money up and then you're not spending it. And then you can look into other stuff. You know, like one of the things, good thing like dividend stock. Now, you got to really do your due diligence with that. First, you got to find the ones that's actually going to pay a dividend, and then, you know, go from there. Now, some people are more adventurous with it because they'll invest in something like Bitcoin or something, a lot of speculation. Some people are very basic. Like my father would say, invest in oil stocks because there's always going to be oil. Yeah, I know we got this push for electric and everything, but, you know, invest in utilities and stuff. People are always going to need them. One thing I would do now, and I'm look into it. Really pay attention how quick like alternative energy sources are growing. Because the fact of the matter is, anything in utilities, energy, some people always going to need is going to be a good bet. Now, like I said, you still got those quick rising stocks, and some people who really get into it, because hey, I'm only in that area in a minor way, very minor, but I'm not going to claim any expertise on like playing stock and everything. So like, this is something, go talk to somebody who actually does it, read some books, and try to get an idea what trends are out there. Yeah, with some due diligence, you put money into some stocks instead of that polo shirt just to try to impress some woman that ain't gonna like it, or women, they invest in those like 10,000 pair of shoes that they don't need. You put it in some stock or put it in your savings, look into some rental property or something like that, and then it's boom. So that's it. Spend the money wisely. Think about it. One way I always look at any spending as an investment, even when I eat. Even when I'm out and I might just want to get something at a restaurant or something like that, a burger joint or whatever, I look at it as an investment. And if I can't see the investment in it, even at a burger joint, I'm just like, do I really need this? All right? Because then I actually look at it as an investment in time. All right, I can get here and eat, or I can go buy some food, but then it would take me time to cook it, all that stuff, and I need to do this and that, And actually, the things I buy the most, are business magazines. That's my biggest expenditure. And even like when I buy clothes, I always think in terms of I'm wearing this to do something to make money, so that's still an investment. Always think about how you spending your money and what purpose. What's it getting for you? I mean, the only thing, in my opinion, the only thing frivolous that money should be spent for is food. It really is food. I mean, you see something, you're like, man, I want to get that sandwich, that 12-inch sandwich. Yeah, and there's an argument that it might not be healthy for you, but you can get that. It's food. But if it's a 12-inch sandwich like twice a day for like 60 days, you have some issues you need to look at. So, but you always want to spend that money. Make sure it's an investment. Make sure it can do something to make you more money, So, anyway, that's it. Let's go make that money.